Hello, my sweet summer children. I never, in all my years covering this universe, thought I would ever say Otto Hightower was my favorite this episode. And I'm still not going to, but he ate Aegon up, read him to filth, called him trifling, and some more stuff. I just know it's about to get crazy. I see the pieces moving into place. Otto has name dropped Alicent's fourth son. Daemon the Daring is coming, and I'm going to talk about what that means in a minute, but can we just talk about the glaringly obvious real quick? I want to point out just how different Aegon and Rhaenyra are. It's clear in the way they handled the grief after the loss of a child, a son. Rhaenyra recused herself, made no moves, made no plans, nothing. Everything came to a halt. Nothing mattered but Lucerys Valerion, her son. But Aegon, how did he react? Screamed, hollered, stomped his feet, threw temper tantrum after temper tantrum. He killed blood, which I don't blame him for that. Totally approve of that. But he hung all the rat catchers. Innocent men with families who will definitely rise up in revolt. He's fired the man that strategized his entire path to the throne and made Cole the second most powerful man in the realm. Calamity after calamity. He's spiraling, and Rhaenyra remains strong and sturdy. There is no question who is the better claimant. I am so ready for next week because I just feel the tension building. I just feel it building. I'm about to explode, but let's break this episode apart. This is going to be a long one, so get your popcorn because I got the juice. So when it opens, we have a lady walking out with Jaehaerys' blanket covered in blood. All the people that live in the Red Keep are being dragged out of their bed in their pajamas. Mama in her kerchief, Papa in his cap. Jaehaerys got whacked, ain't no taking no naps. Bars. Aegon is busting up his daddy's Lego set, and it's kind of sad because we've seen Viserys spend a lot of time on this. It was his life's great joy, but we also seen Viserys spend more time with this Lego set than his actual son. I can see why there are issues there. He's busting it to pieces, screaming, traitors and villains, I'll kill them all. His homies are scared of him. He declares war. Can I just say how the actor Tom Carney that plays Aegon II is absolutely killing it? Later in the episode, when Otto is like, "You wouldn't dare," and he's like, "I dared." He completely sold me on this character, and I can't help but feel for him. Like, I'm Team Black in and out. Rightful queen is definitely Rhaenyra. I'll support every war crime, but the acting, mwah, 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 chef's kiss all over the board. I appreciate Aegon just as I appreciated Cersei and what Lena Headey brought to the character Cersei. Aegon has been led to where he is. We saw he didn't want the throne. He didn't want the crown. He never did.
Rhaenyra will ascend the throne, and Jaehaerys Targaryen will be her heir.
So?
Then we get Aemond, and Aemond is giving super, super weird. This episode super freaky. But Aemond knows by the door being open, the coins being gone, that someone was there and this hit was for him, and he's actually tickled to death by it. Like, he's flattered. Alicent and Otto immediately plot to frame Rhaenyra for this, regardless of who actually did it. Alicent is super upset, not for Jaehaerys because he's no longer in pain, but she says what they have done to my poor girl. I wonder if she's referring to the baby being offed or Helena running to her for help and finding her a bed with Crispin Cole. Alicent is filled with shame. She's saying she sinned. She feels so guilty and dirty. But I wonder, does she feel this way because of the actual deed, or is it her daughter's secondary trauma? Like, she's not a good mother to any of her children, but I find her to be much worse to Aegon than any of them. She feels that the gods are punishing her. But Otto's like, what sin? I know, good daughter, your grandson was just whacked, but some good might come of this. Otto is really a cup half full type guy. Aegon is going ham on the small council, throwing stuff, screaming and yelling. Aegon questions Kristen Cole, and Alicent looks nervous. She's shaking and quaking and looking on nervously because out of all people, she knows he will fold like a napkin. She's seen him fold before.
The sin you allude to. I have committed it.
Larys of House Only Feet comes in and says he has blood. And I just want to know how Larys caught blood so fast. Like, how? Larys got some stuff going on with him. The council suggests that it might not have been Rhaenyra that did this awful thing. And as soon as Aegon starts looking around at them, yes, it could be anybody in this room. They start to bring that down. They bring that down. Otto calls Aegon weak. He says the small folk might want Rhaenyra to be their queen. The small folk don't care who's king or queen as long as they leave them alone and let them live in peace. Then Otto comes up with some Tywin level evil genius effery. Otto plans to have a funeral, a spectacle for the small folk to see what Queen Rhaenyra has done. Aegon says absolutely no to this. Otto claps back with he will be escorted to the dragon pit to be burned as a Targaryen prince. And then Otto drops the biggest bar of his career. Jaehaerys will do more for us now than 1,000 knights in battle. And Otto is right. He's right, bro. I don't like this. I don't like this man. I can't wait for him to bite it. But Otto he's cunning. He's right. It's good advice. Terrible, yes. Immoral, yes. But this is the Game of Thrones. And I see now Aegon firing Otto is the best thing that could happen for the Team Black. Aegon looks to his mother for guidance, and she follows her father's and convinces Aegon that this is the path to take. Alicent goes to see Helaena, my baby. Sweet, innocent Helaena is in shambles. Helaena doesn't want to do this. Alicent does nothing to comfort her children. She's like, it's a funeral. We have to. Girl, I know. You don't want to. Me neither. By the way, what you saw last night when you came in my room. Alicent! Stop it. Helaena throws her a blanket or a shroud, and it looks to be what she was sewing when she said she was scared of the rats. And did y'all peep in episode 1, the dragon eggs under the children's bed? If Blood and Cheese had any sense, they would have stole those and dipped. They were worth more than the gold Daemon was offering, but for Otto and Alicent, for them to put Helaena in a situation like that, it's awful. It's absolutely awful. Like, comfort your child. And to bring up her seeing you bumping and rumping with Crispin Cole, why even bring that up? Like, what is wrong? Like, the audacity. She doesn't comfort Aegon either. Like, in the beginning when she cried for Helaena, I was like, oh, Alicent. But then it's like, girl, you don't even care about these kids. Like, not emotionally. Like, she cares about them more so as to what they can do for her, but she doesn't actually care about them. Anyway, the funeral procession starts. They are riding the baby through the streets with his little neck sewn up. I was thinking while the horse got stuck, the baby was going to roll off the thing and his little head was going to pop off. But they're yelling through the streets. Rhaenyra did it. Look at the work of Rhaenyra Targaryen. Larys has blood in the black cells. Blood folds like a lawn chair. He immediately snitches. He's like, Treyway, it was Daemon. There was also a rat catcher. And then here comes the king. Aegon comes in and knocks blood into the land of always winter. Helaena is being paraded through the streets like a spectacle. It's especially cruel, and I'm a little salty because I was really hoping after Otto said that they were going to burn him in the dragon pit, that we were going to have Helaena with her dragon, Dreamfire, finally. But womp, we don't know what happens after the wheel gets stuck. There's also this moment where Helaena like zooms into them throwing the dried flowers, and you're gonna see another moment with Rhaenyra like this. So let's keep going. So the news has reached Dragonstone, and Rhaenyra is upset that she's being framed for this. Rhaenys immediately clocks it. Rhaenys immediately knows it was Daemon. Rhaenyra eventually realizes it too, but Daemon and Rhaenyra get into it, and mom and dad are fighting. Rhaenyra is pissed at him. She's not holding back anything. She's big mad. It was very irresponsible of Daemon to send 2 idiots into the castle to kill Aemond. They were legit like, we came all this way, we're leaving with something. Can't find Aemond, oh well, let's take an infant. In Daemon's haste to win the war, he fumbled, and he fumbled bad. Daemon denies any responsibility. Rhaenyra's like, you know what? I can't trust you. I can't trust you, Daemon. This argument was epic. Rhaenyra has every right to be mad, but she doesn't need to worry because Aegon undoes all the sorrow people felt for him pretty quickly. She tells Daemon that he keeps his darkness sheathed inside of him. Yep, He's a true Targaryen that will rain fire and spill blood because those are his house words and yours too. And I hate to break it to you, baby, but you keep some darkness sheathed inside of you too. Like, I love Rhaenyra to pieces, but I need her to find her inner Visenya because we can't keep playing the game of fools. Rhaenyra accuses Daemon of using her, and I honestly don't know why she thinks this. Like, how soon have we forgotten? Rhaenyra, baby, I love you, but you begged him to come to your side, to stay with you, to help you, to marry you. He didn't ask for any of this. Daemon says, I've served you faithfully, and he has. He's like, using you. I put the crown on your head myself. I'm about to go to Harrenhal right now and raise armies in your name with the throat goat. She's like, but while I was birthing our child alone, you were plotting war and the business with Otto. Listen, I love Rhaenyra, but the minute Otto stepped foot on Dragonstone popping shit about Aegon has the Conqueror's crown, the Conqueror's sword, every sign of legitimacy, he is the rightful heir, and only you and your father were the last to know it, he should have been dealt with right then and there. I would have fed him to Cyrax. I know, it's not so diplomatic. I know. But seriously, at least he should have been put in chains and kept as a prisoner on Dragonstone. Then Daemon drops the real tea. Real tea that Viserys didn't name Rhaenyra heir because he saw great virtue in her. She was named heir to supplant him, which she ain't trying to hear that. But it's true. She was named heir because Otto and the council did not want the throne to pass to Daemon. But where I disagree with Daemon at is that Viserys didn't just name her his heir. He kept her as his heir. And Viserys kept her as his heir for a lot of reasons. One, he thought she would be a good queen. She was his favorite child, the best of her mother, and he never supplants her because he swore on her mother's memory that he wouldn't. But Rhaenyra says her father could never trust Daemon, and she says, neither can I, which I knew trusting him would be an issue. If you watch the video I did, Does Daemon Love Rhaenyra? I talked about this at length. Daemon says blood and cheese was an accident, but bro, it just wasn't smart to hire these idiots for this sensitive diplomatic assassination. And to be honest, the whole thing is uncharacteristically dumb for Daemon to do that, but emotions were high. He thought she wanted Aemond and he wanted to deliver. Emotions are high, the stakes are high, and they will be fine again later. But anyway, she calls Daemon pathetic. He leaves. Now he's angry. She's woke the dragon, and he's on a mission to prove himself to her. 7 save the Riverlands. Daemon walks past Baela in the halls and doesn't even say anything to her. He's locked in. It's funny that like every time Daemon gets into an argument with Viserys or with Rhaenyra, like he's out. He pieces out. Baela meets with Rhaenyra. She sees the room a mess. Rhaenyra tells Baela to take her dragon Moon Dancer and to patrol the skies above King's Landing, which Rhaenyra won't allow Jace to do. Jace offered to patrol the skies above King's Landing on Vermax, and Rhaenyra was like immediately no. She's not willing to risk another son. She's not willing to lose another son. I find this selfish. Like, Rhaenyra, protect Baela too. Baela and Jace should be doing this patrol together. That way, if Turkey Neck Vhagar tries it, there would be 2 dragons instead of 1. But don't get it messed up. Like, Moon Dancer can definitely outfly Vhagar. Arax could have outflown Vhagar too. It was just the wind, the rain. The smaller dragons are way faster and way more agile than that Vhagar. But anyway, when Baela asked of Daemon, Rhaenyra tells her he must follow his own path. So basically, Rhaenyra has dismissed him, sent him away, very Viserys-like, but she knows he will bring her the Riverlands, like she knows it. And then from the dragon driveway at Dragonstone, it's our one and only bow-legged boy, the throat goat, Caraxes. And Daemon is in full armor. Oh baby, we're going to war. I also love this theme music and how it started to slowly build from the argument to him leaving. Then in King's Landing, there is a scene between Helaena and Aegon where Helaena is unsure and Aegon looks unsure, and they just walk past each other. Like, I want to talk about this because, like, is he mad at her? Is he ashamed that he didn't listen to her? But what I really think it is, I feel like none of them know how to comfort each other. It's psychological, because if you grow up in a loving family, and if you've been shown throughout your life how to love, if you've been nurtured, if you've been shown how to comfort, these things are all natural to you, like hugging, telling each other, I love you. If you are nurtured in these ways, then most times it's natural to exhibit these things. But the Greens, something is off. Alicent does not comfort them. Helaena doesn't even want Alicent to touch her. She never has, actually. She treats Aegon awful, and Aemond is on some real weirdo shit. So while I don't think that Aegon does not want to comfort Helaena, I think he does not know how, does not know what to say, does not even know how to approach these complex feelings. These things are unnatural to him because he's always been treated as a tool for the Hightowers to gain the throne, and he's never been treated as a person. Crispin Cole is looking at the bloody mattress. I want Crispin to be set on fire. Alicent goes into her room. Crispin is standing the door. He's like, have you told anyone? He's like, what do you take me for? And she basically said, one, to be absolved of his sins. Bro, he's such a loser. Like, she knows he will fold. She has him wrong, though. He doesn't look for absolution. He looks for revenge, the same as he did with Rhaenyra. Crispin is in the halls fighting his demons, and Alicent slips into the tub of water. What a lame bro. I cannot stand him. He has the audacity to go to Eric and accuse him of being disloyal to the king and questions where he was. And he's like, I was with the king. Where were you? And he makes this big fuss. He starts creating this whole scene to take attention off himself. Eric even brings up the greatest point. Why did the queen have no sworn protector? Surely when she ascended, and Crispin kicks the table and cuts him off before he can get the words out, because Eric was spitting tea, facts, real tea. Because actually, once Helaena became queen, Crispin should have became Helena's sworn protector, but he stayed with the Dowager Queen so he could keep stuffing that muffin. He then charges Eric to go to King's Landing as his twin. Eric's like, bro, the Kingsguard are not shadow assassins. We're not faceless men. But Crispin gives the order and it's done. Jace and Baela are at Dragonstone. Baela is angry with Daemon. She's shooting a crossbow and she's actually really good with that thing. Jace pulls up on her like, you weren't at dinner, babe. What's up? What's going on? And they talk about their fathers, all three of them, Laenor, Harwin, and Daemon. Baela says she feels like she hates him sometimes, which one thing about Daemon is he has not shown much interest in his offspring. Being a father has not been his strong suit on this TV show. In Fire and Blood, though, Baela is literally a mini Daemon. I love Jace and Baela's little relationship. I also get the feely wheelies when Jace was talking about breakbones. One criticism that I do have that Baela and Rhaena don't get a lot of screen time. Jace either, really. These characters need to be getting as much screen time as Allie Cole because they are just important. But also, I'm over the Allie Cole shit. We get it. They be coupling, but let's get back to the storyline. I'm just starting to feel like don't be treating Baela and Rhaena like the Game of Thrones did the Direwolves, like backseat riding, no real story. I'm not for that, but not too much because we're only on episode 2. Jace also says that he misses Luke, and my heart. Speaking of Luke, what in the 7 hells does Aemond have going on at this brothel? Like, please, BFFR. Are they trying to portray him as having mommy issues? Because that was absolutely over the top. He's naked like a newborn, in the fetal position, glass of milk being poured, laying on the bosom of a big-breasted lady. Not gonna lie, it was Larys level creepy. Like, it was even creepier than Larys. Kind of terrifying. Aemond is weirdly obsessed with his mother. I don't know if it's because Alicent used to baby him, but do y'all remember the scene at Driftmark with the whole eye thing? Remember how he awkwardly laid his head on his mother's shoulders? It was so weird, right? Like, this is the same vibe. Like, the psychology of Aemond is actually really interesting. Yes, he was a mama's boy, but he probably is in love with her because she always took up for him. Like on Driftmark, she fought for retribution for her son's injury. She went so far as to even stab Rhaenyra. And not for nothing, Aemond probably remember the whole Lucerys thing, the whole Storm's End business, which he does bring up in this scene. So while they are at Storm's End, he says, eye to give the eye as a gift for his mother. In this brothel scene, he says he feels bad about it. He said his temper got the best of him, but that's actually not what happened. Vhagar got the best of him, but he would never let anyone know that he can't fully control his dragon. Also, the mom kink makes so much sense when it comes to the dragon that he chose. No funny shit, he literally chose the grandma dragon. But he also talks about them teasing him as a kid. I think this is interesting because the ringleader of the ones that teased him was Aegon. Aegon blamed Jace, but when Alicent brings it up, Viserys knows very well that it was Aegon. So if he has resentments towards Jace and Luke, he definitely has resentment towards Aegon. And Aemond is so flattered that Daemon sent assassins to kill him in his bed. He was like, I'm so glad he sees me as such a foe. Like, he's got that approval that he's wanted from Daemon. He feels like he's got it. And now, like, his ego will not be tamed. The brothel lady also reminds him to mind his temper because when princes lose their temper, it's the small folk who end up being harmed. Speaking of small folk, we have Hugh the Hammer and his family and their house in King's Landing. And I like that Ryan Condal is showing the small folk POV. As a result of the impending war, the blockade of the gullet, food is growing scarce in King's Landing. People are hoarding. People are price gouging. It's COVID all over again. Hugh the Hammer is not how I expected him to be. I like this. I like this a lot. He also reminds me of a Witcher, like Geralt or Vesemir. I don't know, it's giving Butcher of Blaviken. But this character is important, so please pay attention to him. He becomes important much later. On Driftmark, we have Adam and Alan Oakenfist. This is the cutest brotherly relationship that there is. Adam and Alan are brothers. They live on Driftmark. Alan is named Alan Oakenfist. You may remember him from episode 1. He was talking to Corlys, the sea snake. Adam is trying to convince Alan to go with the sea snake on his next voyage. He's like, you want to be rich? Sail the seas with the sea snake, which is true. The sea snake made House Valerian even richer than House Lannister due to all the voyages he went on. But Alan says, war is coming. And Adam's like, but he owes us. He owes us, brother. Well, why would he owe them, you might ask? If you know, you know. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but here's the clue. In the next scene, we have the sea snake, Rhaenys and Corlys in bed with each other. Corlys is like, Daemon left right when we needed him. Rhaenys knows Daemon like a book. Let's keep in mind, Daemon and Viserys were basically raised with Rhaenys. They are first cousin. Daemon and Viserys' dad and Rhaenys' dad were brothers, close brothers too. She knows Daemon does not want the throne, but he also doesn't want Rhaenyra controlling him. He's a dragon too, and he's going to make his own way as he always has. She says that as a fact, and she knows that if he takes Harrenhal, all will be forgiven. But she also says that she very well knows that it's not easy for the crown to be passed over you. So she relates to him, but not in the same way. Like, they relate on that, but their moral compass is completely different. And we find out that Corlys likes for her to dominate him. But Rhaenys almost made me cry when she said, well, we are here, me and Meleys, and we will not let the queen falter. Rhaenys is really Rhaenyra's biggest ally. So in the library at Dragonstone, Rhaenyra is on her Samwell Tarly-ish, reading ancient books and scrolls. Rhaenyra meets with Mysaria. I find their exchange interesting because Rhaenyra remembers who Mysaria is when Rhaenyra was only a child. She pulled up on Daemon on Syrax on the bridge to retrieve the dragon eggs. Rhaenyra does not trust Mysaria though. I honestly think Rhaenyra got mad when Mysaria gave that speech to her about it doesn't matter what she does, what she builds, men will never accept her. Rhaenyra knows that feeling all too well. Then we get a shot of Adam clamming the shores of Driftmark and a dragon flying above him. I know this dragon is Sea Smoke. Sea Smoke is Laenor Valerian's dragon. You will remember Sea Smoke from the Battle of the Stepstones. But where is Laenor though? He sailed away and we never heard nothing else. He's House of the Dragons Gendry. In King's Landing, Aegon has hung all of the rat catchers. Since Blood didn't know the name, they killed them all. They hung them outside of the gates. Then we get what is one of the best scenes in the first 2 episodes. Aegon, Otto, and Crispin. Otto pops his top. He has had enough. Crispin Cole was like, watch how you talk to your king. He's like, the king is my grandson and my grandson is a fool and nobody was talking to you incels, so shut up. But Otto is right. Like, they had garnered all this sympathy. They had garnered this sympathy. They had to, it was bitter sacrifice to have Helena and Alicent ride through the streets with this baby. They even had Rhaenyra's own council questioning their loyalty to her. He reads Aegon to filth. He even calls him trifling. He asks him if he ever thinks about his father and how he ruled and how he tried to be. But he says, he was right about you. And he basically laughed in Aegon's face when he was like, he named me the king. Otto laughs. Otto just busts out laughing and is like, oh, is that what you think? This is also confirmation that Otto does not believe what Alicent said about the king changing his mind. Otto is right to be mad. Like, naming Crispin Cole as hand is the worst mistake of Aegon's life. Crispin is going to send them into a war they cannot win. Aegon tells Otto to take the badge. Otto throws it on the floor. Otto was like, you wouldn't dare. And Aegon's like, I dared. I dared. The actor that plays Otto killed this scene. The actor that plays Aegon killed this scene. Like, this scene was so good. But I like how the argument between Otto and Aegon, breaking them apart, like Otto being sent away, I like that because it parallels nicely with the argument that happened on Dragonstone with the Daemon and Rhaenyra scene, with Daemon being sent away, because these fractures in these relationships, these important relationships, are the real tea, because Rhaenyra's best ally was sent away, and so was Aegon's. Otto talks with Alicent. He's very upset and venting, and he's talking about how Criston Cole and Aegon are going to terrorize the Seven Kingdoms. But he also says, you have another son in Old Town, Alicent's youngest son, Daemon the Daring. Daemon had been sent to Old Town to squire for Lord Otto Hightower. Daemon is a lot different than Aemond or Aegon. He's kind and gentle. We always assumed that Daemon would be introduced because Alicent had all 4 of her children in the intro last season, and because Daemon said that the Greens had 4 dragons, which are Vhagar, Sunfire, Dreamfire, and Tessarion. So Daemon the Daring is the dragon rider of Tessarion. I've heard rumors and speculation that they are going to actually make Daemon Crispin Cole's bastard, and I don't like that one bit, because there would be no way that he could be a dragon rider of Tessarion if that's the case. But anyway, Alicent is all guilty feeling. I'm a sinner, papa. I have sinned. And he's like, I don't wish to hear it. But I wish he did hear it so he could go tell his grandson that his new hand is banging his mama. It kind of sucks that he wouldn't let her unload on him. Alicent doesn't seem to really care that Crispin Cole has up-jumped himself all the way to Hand of the King. Alicent walks in on Aegon, and Aegon's like crying, and she's just like, I'm not dealing with this. I've had enough of this. Crispin is actually waiting for her in her bed. She slaps him around, pushes him around, and I don't know if this is like their kink or if she's mad at him for what has transpired. But like, please send him off already. Go to the butcher's ball already. The Red Keep has been taken over by a bunch of degenerates. Rhaenyra and Eric visit Mysaria, and Rhaenyra winds up letting Mysaria go. And I know Mysaria sees in Rhaenyra what many already know, that she will be a merciful queen. As Mysaria is being escorted to the boats, she sees the evil twin get off the boat. Mysaria knows these twins. She's dealt with them before in King's Landing. She just left the good one, so she knows he can't be getting off the boat. As the evil twin sneaks around the castle, Rhaenyra's getting ready for bed. The evil twin ends up in Rhaenyra's room, but Mysaria alerted the good twin, and the sword fight ensues, and it was epic. I love how it went down. You parted us, but I still love you, brother. The good twin slew his brother, but then he fell on his sword. And Rhaenyra has witnessed all of this. Rhaenyra has so much trauma, man. Like, she's lost 2 children, Visenya and Luke. Her throne has been usurped by her family. She can't trust her husband. She's being blamed for what happened to Jaehaerys, and it's not only that she can't trust her husband. He's gone, and she doesn't know if he'll ever come back. He could die in the Riverlands. But this episode was absolutely crazy. I feel the tension building. Wars are about to be had. Big battles are about to be had. But if you want more of like spoilers and all that stuff, then check me out on Direwolf City. We go live right after the episode. The link will be below. As always, thanks for watching and thanks to everyone who supports me. Okay, my sweet summer children, have a good day.